What up, y'all? Okay, so we got another high calorie, woke Democrat activist judge that was saving illegal aliens at the courthouse and hiding them from ICE. Let's check this out.
Judge, anything to say about this?
Good job,
FBI
reporters.
Director Kash Patel says a U.S. judge has been arrested for obstructing an immigration operation. Let's go live right now to our senior crime and justice correspondent, Caitlin Poland. It's pretty dramatic. What are you learning, Caitlin?
Truly, Wolf, this is something that we have certainly not seen before, but appears to be part of this aggressive approach the Trump administration has toward immigration.
Yep.
What the FBI Director Kash Patel announced in a social media post
No one is above the law.
minutes ago this morning is that just now,
Remember that?
the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse. Eduardo Flores Ruiz is the name that the FBI director puts out there about that subject, allowing the subject to evade arrest. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since. But the judge's obstruction created increased.
They had to chase down this guy in the street after this guy assaulted and beat a man so bad, a woman had to step in to stop him, and then he beat her up, and they let this guy out in the streets. Progressive brain rot.
Public. So that's the FBI director laying out this apparent story and the developments this morning, Wolf, of what is happening with this arrest. We have reached out to the Milwaukee County Circuit Court, which is where the judge sits, Judge Hannah Dugan. They have not responded yet, and there isn't any publicly available information in the court record about this, but it would be a startling development if this judge was arrested as she was working on the bench as a judge handling an immigration case or a case of a person that ICE was also interested in. Wolf?
Yeah.
Why would that be startling?
Dramatic and significant indeed.
What the
Caitlin
hell,
Poland's
dude?
reporting for us. Thank you very much, Pam.
Let's check out some more details.
Milwaukee County judge obstructed justice by shielding a man from an ICE arrest at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. The incident happened Friday in misdemeanor court and could make the judge a target of a federal investigation.
Good.
Nick Bohr tonight with that story.
Judge Hannah Dugan has been on the Milwaukee County bench for 9 years, but is
Gross.
herself under scrutiny after an incident involving a man wanted by immigration agents outside her courtroom Friday. According to a law enforcement source, ICE agents were waiting outside Dugan's courtroom for a man making a court appearance there, but Dugan is alleged to have shielded him to avoid his ICE detention. In an email to other judges shared with 12 News, Chief Judge Carl Ashley confirmed the presence of ICE agents Friday, explaining they had a warrant and were asked to wait outside the courtroom. However, Ashley said he, quote, had no information to provide as to what occurred inside Judge Dugan's courtroom. I spoke with Judge Dugan outside of her courtroom here this afternoon. She told me that she didn't wish to comment at this time, but there is a sign taped to her courtroom door that predates the Friday incident, but seems to reference some of the same issues. The sign urges any person who, quote, feels unsafe coming to the courthouse to contact Judge Dugan's clerk to request a remote hearing via Zoom. It stated,
You see how they do this? If you're an illegal alien and you don't feel safe coming to the courthouse, just call on Zoom. That way you can avoid getting arrested. What the hell, dude?
before the Friday incident.
Let's take a look at how the lamestream fake news, MSDNC, is going to frame this story.
Step to
With this Botox queen right here.
extraordinary step to arrest a judge.
Oh my God,
allegedly obstructing an immigration arrest.
A judge couldn't possibly break the law, could they?
Right to NBC's Gary Grumback, who has been trying to work on getting this reporting for us. What do we know?
So what we know right now is that over the past several days and weeks, we've seen videos of people being arrested at courthouses by Department of Homeland Security officials when they show up for hearings to adjudicate their immigration status.
Hell yeah.
That is something we've seen over and over again over the past several weeks. Now, veteran circuit court judge up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, her name is Hannah Dugan. She's now being accused of trying to help out an undocumented immigrant avoid arrest. And I want to read to you FBI Director Kash Patel's tweet. He says in part, quote, "Just now, the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week." He says, going on, saying, "We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse at Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, who they call an illegal alien, to evade arrest." Now, they say that this individual was eventually arrested by DHS officials. This is something that is just developing, Anna, and we have not yet seen any court documents in this case, but we are awaiting further news on this topic. Anna?
Again, I know how fresh this is, Gary, but do we know how unusual is a situation?
Oh my
like
God,
this for
Z's.
feds to-
It is unusual to arrest somebody that's a Democrat that breaks the law. Because only Democrats are above the law. This is just so strange. I can't believe we're setting this precedent that we're arresting Democrats for breaking the law.
arrest a judge?
Woke Democrats.
Well, this is incredibly unusual. This is certainly not something we saw during the Biden administration, not even something we saw during the first Trump administration. But with the increase of importance of immigration as a priority to the Trump administration this time, this is what we have started to see. This is the very first time we've ever seen a judge arrested like this. But seeing these on-camera videos of arrests at courthouses of immigrants that are there to adjudicate.
So now they're going to give the details of the actual day and what happened and how this all occurred.
Says despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse. A foot chase ensued. The agents pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse and ultimately apprehended him. According to this complaint, Judge Dugan was visibly angry that ICE was there to arrest Flores Ruiz, even tried to kick the deportation agents out of the courthouse.
Yeah, and to set the stage for you and Sandra, this was truly horrific. This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And
no! Let the violent illegal alien that beats women and beats the crap out of another guy, let him go! No, how could you? Oh my God.
you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside.
Look at this high-calorie
Jabba. He had been
Jabba.
deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge.
This is like a woke Karen judge trying to attack people that are actually doing their job, unlike her.
She comes back in the courtroom, you're not going to believe this, takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave, while a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow.
You know, Madam Attorney General, great to have you here, and thanks for coming back on America Report. So we remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was March 17th, and his message on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's efforts. Listen.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
Hell yeah.
When you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
In fact, she just had an initial appearance in court. There's also this other case.
Now check out these woke libtards that are upset that this judge that broke the law is being held accountable.
Estamos en la lucha. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No due process, no peace. No due process, no peace.
These people are seriously sick in the head. They want criminal illegals out on the streets terrorizing American citizens. That's what these woke tards want.
Free, no justice, no peace. Judge Dugan will be free, no justice, no peace. Judge Dugan will be free, no justice, no peace.
Dude.
Judge Dugan will be free, no justice, no peace.
All soy-infused white liberals. Look at these. Look at this guy right here with the glasses in the corner. Look at this guy. Look at these guys. All infused with soy, all overweight, or they're like 90 pounds vegans. Dude. What's wrong with these people? So let's take a look at CNN having to admit that this judge is straight up cooked.
This all means that the political battleground state of Wisconsin is now the backdrop for this highly unusual and aggressive legal action against this judge from the Trump administration. Of course, the Trump administration led by a president who has been...
And this woman is so insufferable. Bro, like, talk about one of the most insufferable women on CNN. She might be, at least Caitlin Collins is tough. Like, this chick is, like, look at her RBF. Look at that face. God, she's annoying.
Free to express his feelings, hostility towards the judiciary.
Radical left judges, radical left lunatic judges, nasty judge, extreme far left judges.
Being here. Caitlin Collins, I want to start with you on our latest reporting around this because this, of course, a very sensitive area for state and local officials. Their interactions with the federal government, of course, always highly scrutinized as a general matter. Clearly, this judge is in a difficult position now.
Yeah.
What do we know about what her plans are to try to fight back against this and what the administration's next moves are?
Well, they have
You see those signs? Resist fascism. How is it fascist to arrest people that are breaking the law that aren't even supposed to be here and holding all these people accountable? How is that fascism? Democrats truly believe that because they're Democrats, they are above the law.
And that case is going to go on in court. She hasn't entered a pleading yet. She was released after appearance. But one of the things
She's
that
lucky. She's probably gonna
should really
flee.
be highlighted here is not, I mean, the case against the judge, it's unusual, but it's not unprecedented. There has been a case like this before in 2019 during the first Trump administration, charging a judge in Massachusetts who was accused of something very similar, trying to usher someone out of that courtroom as ICE officials were waiting for that defendant. In that case, that ended up being resolved. Those charges were dropped in the Biden administration against that judge in Massachusetts, but she ended up cutting a deal. So it was a legitimate case there as well. We don't know how this will go for Judge Dugan, but the thing I really want to highlight here is how this was done today. The Attorney General wants to make an example of this, and boy, are they, Casey. I mean, it's not just the Attorney General, Tom Homan, coming out and saying, doesn't matter who you are, we'll go after you, we'll charge you criminally with obstruction. They apprehended this judge on courthouse grounds at 8:30 this morning.
Good.
And then held her in a holding facility at the federal courthouse until her initial appearance, which happened mid-morning in Milwaukee.
She was treated better than the January 6ers. What are they crying about?
On these federal charges. It's an obstruction charge, yes, but often people who are upstanding members of the community who aren't a risk of flight, who aren't a danger to the community, they're not put in a cell. They were contacted and said, come in.
Yes, you are. What are you talking about? You get arrested, you got to get processed, and then you have to wait till you see a judge. What are you talking about? These people literally believe that they should have special privileges. Oh my God, dude. These people make me so sick, dude. They literally think that just because they're woke Democrat activists that they should get special privileges and be treated better than everybody else.
Later, whenever you want to face your charges, when you negotiate this. And so that situation, the apprehending of the judge and then using the federal government's spotlight to point at this case, it just shows you how much of a hard line the administration wants to take here.
Everything Caitlin said and Andy McCabe said before her about the way this is being handled, the way the arrest is being handled, the way that DOJ is publicizing this is spot on and correct.
Sending a message.
However, looking at the complaint, let's strip the politics out of it. This is a crime.
Boom.
If they can prove what happened
Boom.
here, it is a crime. This judge, let's strip the Trump of it all out. Let's strip the immigration of it all out. Let's say law enforcement shows up at a building with an arrest warrant. They're looking for person A. Person B then says, hey, there's a secret escape door out back. I'm going to show you the way, and then ushers that person out the back door. That is textbook obstruction. That said, I think there's a fair debate to be had that I guess you two will be having in a moment about whether prosecutors should have brought this case. And let me tell you, I've been both state and federal side. If I was at DOJ and someone brought me this case on these facts, I would say, I get it. I get that robotically this is a crime, but I don't know that this is the right move here. Can't we just call up the state courthouse, see if there's some way we can work this out with the judiciary? How are we going to make arrests? I did this. Where are we?
You see that? Can we just give them some special privileges? Can we give them some special privileges? No, dude.
Make arrests. What are the protocols we're going to agree on? Jumping right. Not everything that's a crime must be indicted or charged by complaint. And so I think this is a crime on paper, but there's a very fair debate about whether it should have been charged.
Right. Well, prosecutors make.
Bro, these people are just, oh my God. You don't hate these people enough, man. You don't. Like, would they ever have this much support backing a conservative? So why are they arresting this conservative person? No. They have no problem going after anyone they disagree with is fair game. Using the justice system to attack Trump and try and lock up Trump, that's okay. That's totally fine. It's fair game. But a judge that's clearly broken the law, they didn't have to go fishing around trying to find laws that she broke. She clearly broke the law and was trying to let a violent offender just let him go into the streets while he was waiting for his court hearing. Like, this is insane. This is like insane levels of Democrat progressive gaslighting right here. All right. This video is long enough. I'm going to do another one on this, but let me know what you guys think, dude. Screw these people.